Hello Aries, Elsie here to do a bonus read for you, friends. Just want to say thank you in all the ways that you've been loving on me. I do appreciate you so very, very much. Aries, my fire family. Let's find out what's going on for you. This could be a reading for past, present, or future. I always like to read from the future energy, but look, I'm just saying, everything that's going on, full moon, right, in Capricorn, things that are wrapping up, they just shut off the CERN, right? All of that stuff, all the planetary movements, Cancer, we've got a emotional reflective time going on with Mercury retrograde in Cancer. So look, it is what it is. Let's just throw the cards and find out what's going on for you, Aries. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. I'm an Aries Taurus cusp. Very early degrees of Taurus. Let's find out what is going on for my fire family. Tell me about Aries. What do we need to know about Aries? We've got the Three of Wands. Oops. Well, that's very interesting. You know, I've never looked at it that way before. I'm noticing now that she's maybe she is at the front of the boat. It almost feels like the boat is going this way and somebody is sort of looking over the past and going, one last look at the past before my ships come in. Before I go into the open waters. It almost feels like you're just watching something fade into the distance before you hit the open sea. What is this? Got the Knight of Swords. You're being very brave about something. Tell me more. Okay, I just heard the song Leaving on a Jet Plane in my head. It feels like this might be an adventure, I would say, or maybe it's a trip. Maybe you're going on a cruise. It feels like it's you're leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, hey babe, I hate to go. Maybe you're leaving someone. Tell me more, because this knight does what they want when they want to do it. This Knight of Swords is the one who is just going to speak their truth. I don't really care if you like it. The truth doesn't give a crap if you like what it's saying. The truth is the truth. And then we've got the Seven of Cups. It feels like you're about to make a decision here. And it's an important decision. Looking at the Seven of Cups, right? Seven of Cups is like the five is above her head. She's like, am I going to regret this? This decision? This emotional decision that I'm making? Am I going to regret making this emotional decision? I feel like you are trying to figure out whether you are going to share some information with someone that you may be in this place of deep bond, or maybe you're in a relationship with them, somebody that you're deeply bonded to. This could be a friend, somebody you shared secrets with. I see reciprocal emotional energy going back and forth, but it feels like you have to be honest about how you feel about something, and the thought of it is really overwhelming. But I think that the reason that you're saying is because you're going on a trip, you're going on an adventure. It feels like you're leaving somewhere. So you might be leaving on a jet plane, right? As I heard in my head, it might be that, but it feels like you're doing it because it's the moment of alchemy. You can no longer wait. This is the most confident time. Everything is going your way at this time. This is the thing that I need to do right now, is what it feels like. And the Knight isn't holding back, right? The Knight of Swords does not hold back. Sometimes just really is guilty of blurting it out, not really caring how somebody feels about it. Tell me more. We've got the King of Cups. It's about something deeply emotional that you have been stuffing down, throwing food on top of, stuffing down, throwing liquor on top of. It feels like there's something here that you've been keeping deep within you that you never thought that you would say it, but then the Gemini. I just love Gemini. I giggle about it because Gemini is the one that I get into a lot of trouble with. But Gemini shows up and says, come on, you know you want to say it. You can say it kindly. You can say it with water. You can say it softly. Tell me more. It's almost like you're saying something before you walk out the door. I'm just going to say this now because I'm going to be away for 3 weeks. 3 wands. Weeks are wands for me. I'm going to be away for 3 weeks, and so I'm going to give you this information, and you can think about that while I'm gone. We've got the Knight of Cups. This particular Knight of Cups, I do see as the Knight of Cups, but I don't see it as romantic. I see it as I'm doing something for me. It's time for me to do something for me. But look where it shows up. This one cup in the hand of the Knight shows up next to the 7, and now we have 8, and then all of a sudden somebody is detaching from their emotions in order to be able to tell somebody something before they leave, or before they walk out the door, before they leave the job, or before they leave the relationship. 5 of Swords, damn. Ooh, Tower on the bottom of the deck. Okay. Something is definitely going to surprise someone. I don't think you're the one that's surprised. I think this is something that you've been keeping under the surface for a while. Aries, you know you're the sniper. You know you are. You will watch it, observe it, take it in, take all the notes you need to take, and then when it's time to say it, you'll just say it all. Well, this is what you did Tuesday at 2 o'clock, and I told you not to do that, but you did it anyway, knowing that I would be unhappy about it. Like, it feels like you all of a sudden start reciting all the things that you have witnessed. Now, I feel like what you've been keeping deep buried beneath here is that there is some sort of fundamental difference that you have with somebody you might be dating, that you have feelings for. It feels like that. And you can no longer keep it under the surface, because to me, the Knight of Swords being at the top of your reading is like taking the top off of a glass bottle of pop after you shook it around a little bit. Feels like it's the pressure is building here. I can no longer keep it under the surface. I gotta say something, and the Tower shows up. What's next? Ooh, damn, 10 of Cups is in the reverse. So it does feel like this is going to... It feels like the reason you're saying something is because you're now in disillusionment of something that was maybe somebody had promised you, or I thought this was going to be way different than it is right now. Tell me about the Knight of Swords. That's why you're making your decision to say it at the time that you are, because it's divine timing. So this doesn't have to be, of course, everybody, but I feel like there is somebody here who is leaving on a business trip, who is going to the cabin for 3 weeks, who is making a trip somewhere, going on an adventure, and says, this is what I've got to say. I want you to think about it while I'm gone. Wheel of Fortune is here. Something is changing and expanding. But listen, the Wheel of Fortune is Sagittarian energy ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter just stepped into Leo. So kaboom, right? All of a sudden, things are changing, expanding really quickly in a fiery way, right? Look, what's going on here? Aries, tell me what's going on. Tell me in the comments what's going on. We have the 3 of Swords here now. And then we have the 4 of Swords. It feels like somebody here is leaving on jet plane, wherever you're going, is leaving to get away. I need to think about this. I need to heal something. Something has hurt me, and I need to heal. 3 of Swords is here by the Wheel of Fortune, and it tells me that whatever is changing, whatever is about to expand, it is fortunate for you, but I don't feel it's fortunate for the person who is lying to you. 3 and 4 is 7, right? This person is going to be up in their head for weeks while you're gone. Maybe you're not even going. I don't know if you are. It just feels like that. It feels like you are, like maybe you're not even leaving town. Maybe you're just going somewhere to explore a new path, right? Like this is looking out into the future and waiting for something to change. Your ship's coming in, as they would say, right? And it feels like before you leave, I'm just going to say what I got to say, because there's a fundamental difference here, and I need you to think about that while I'm gone. That sounds very Aries to me. Tell me about the 3 of Wands. We've got the 8 of Swords. You didn't know when was the best time to say it, but I feel like you thought about it over and over and over again. We've got the 10 of Swords. Ooh, somebody has betrayed you. You feel like you just need to relieve yourself of this, let go to the cabin, go fishing with your buddies, go to the girls' night or the girls' weekend. It feels like somebody here, I need to get out of my head about how betrayed I feel about whatever's going on here. Dang. And I think that's what shifts everything. The fact that you're saying it on the way out the door tells me you don't really even want to talk about it right now. But I think you're giving all the details. You're going to blurt it out really quick. And I feel like it's because you don't trust something, that's someone's feelings. It feels like you don't trust their feelings. It feels overwhelming. There's an illusion about their feelings. It feels something like that. And now I'm doing something for me. I'm just going to say it. We've got fundamental differences, and you need to figure out what that is by the time I get back. Tell me about the 7 of Cups. The 8 of Cups. The Knight of Pentacles. And the King of Wands. Wow. So, I feel as though you have decided that it's time to depart. It almost feels as though, Aries, that you feel like you've been settling for something and you're worth much, much more. You have wisdom. You're a go-getter. You're a hard worker. You never let up until you get what you want. Look, there's never anything that the King of Wands is not going to get. The Knight of Pentacles is here. I think you've waited long enough. I think it's time for you to detach, and I really do think that you're doing that. I feel that whatever information you found out feels like a betrayal, feels like a lie. Somebody kept something from you, and I feel like you blurted out to them and say, yeah, well, this is what I found out. So I'm going to go, and you figure out what you need to do, because I have some sort of a journey to go on here. I'm going to go detach from all of this, take care of myself, and when I get back, we'll have a conversation. Tell me what's hiding under the surface, because it almost feels like this is a bit of a, I'm not going to say sinister look, but it feels like looking you straight in the eye, right? Like you're looking somebody straight in the eye. It's almost like you don't even have to say what's going down, because they already know. They know that you know. We have the 2 of Cups. We have the King of Pentacles. And we have the Magician. So ball's in your court, friend. It feels like ball is in your court. I want to say that you are probably the person who has built this kingdom. You're the person who I feel initiated the connection between you and the other person. It does feel like you're probably dating them, living with them, or married to them. The Magician energy tells me that you have all of the tools. You have all of the skills and the resources, but also the ball is in your court, because I can manifest anything that I want. I manifested this whole damn kingdom. It feels like you're very serious about a connection with somebody, and you've been holding some sort of information that you found out under the surface. And now I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to create my reality. But I'm going to start with the kingdom. It feels like I'm going to start by asking questions about why this person feels as though my kingdom is their kingdom just because they're bonded to me emotionally. 10 of Pentacles tells me that we're dealing in a lot of money. We're dealing in possibly health issues. Or maybe you did have a health issue and now you have longevity. Maybe you have your health back finally. And so you're feeling like your old self. Tell me what you're keeping for yourself. It feels like you're trying to love yourself now, Aries. That you're like, you know what, I've loved you for long enough. I've given you everything, the depth of who I am, and now I'm going to love myself. That's the plan. The 2 of Wands is here. I feel like you stood at the crossroads for a long time, figuring out whether you should enact the 3 of Wands or not. And I think that when everything shifts, surprisingly, you're like, yeah, I bought the ticket. I'm going, and I'll be back in a bit. We've got the Queen of Swords. And we've got the Hierophant. You're being really honest about your commitment. It feels like this could be a commitment that you have with somebody, possibly, Aries. This could be a marriage, possibly, or someone that you've committed to stay with for a long time. The Queen of Swords is here. You have to be really honest about your commitment. Is it really serving you? Because when the Queen of Swords gets involved, this is the person who's being really very honest, and they're acquiring their boundaries accordingly. This person is somebody who is going to speak the truth and is going to liberate themselves if you can't see the truth the way they see the truth. This person doesn't have an agenda. The Queen of Swords doesn't have an agenda. Her only agenda is seeing the truth be told. So I feel like your plan is, because the 2 of Wands has shown up, to leave the two of Wands, to stop being stuck, enact the plan, pursue whatever it is on the journey here, detach from the whole situation while someone is making a decision about how they're going to defend their actions. Feels like you left somebody stuck in their mind, stuck in their head. Because now it feels like you're dealing with someone who's dishonest, possibly. That person's got 1,000 things in their head. Which one thing was Aries talking about? Because now they could tell on themselves, because they don't really know what exactly you're talking about. Am I going to tell on myself? It feels like there is something you don't agree with that this person's been doing. It's like an emotional manipulation, it feels like. Tell me about the Five of Swords. We've got the Six of Pentacles. We've got the Two of Swords. That's it. The money stops. The money stops here. Now I'm starting to listen to myself. Again, this is Libra, right? The Two of Swords is Libra. You're at a crossroads, friend, and you know that you have to make a decision. Am I going to continue doing what I'm doing, giving reciprocal energy? And at this point, it doesn't really look reciprocal. It looks like you're the one that's doing all the giving, and somebody's got their hand out here. Am I going to stay where I am and be practical and stay in this and work it out and all the stuff, have the conversation? Or am I going to be happy? Because it feels as though you are at a crossroads in your life where you need to understand why these fundamental differences. Now, when I speak of fundamental differences, I mean that this is something that we agreed on before we got married. So maybe you married somebody who didn't want to have kids, and you're like, I don't want to have kids, and I want to make sure that the person I marry doesn't want to have kids. Or it could be something else, like something else that means a lot. It could be a difference of religion. It could be a difference of how we look. Like it could be a cultural difference. But it feels like there is somebody's been lying about what's under the surface, and it feels as though I've come to a crossroads. I'm going to go happy, be with my friends, do a little bit of celebrating, and then we'll come back and I'll give you reciprocal energy, and you better have some practical answers for me. All right. Wow, I didn't expect it to be that intense, but you are pretty intense, Aries. You're pretty intense. Let's find out what else Aries needs to know before we go. Ace of Swords, clarity be damned. Clarity is here. That's it. The epiphany, the clarity. That I'm finally going to get my answers. We're finally going to speak honestly about this thing that's been sliding off the shelf for a while. I feel like you were hoping that things were going to get better, Aries, because you're not a person who unplugs. You endure, right? You're the ram. You endure. And so I feel like you were enduring as things were getting worse and worse emotionally. We've got the Page of Swords. Remember I said at the beginning that you're a person who watches and waits and takes mental notes and writes things down, and you're not going to forget. And when you show up, you're not having to reach into 1985 to pull out an argument. You're talking about current time. It feels like there is a distance sort of observation going on. It feels like we're digging for information, or I've been digging for information. Something is not as it seems because the Ten of Cups is in the reverse and you found it. What does Aries do from here? What happens from here? The Sun is here. The Strength is here. This reveals how strong you truly are. How much courage you really have, Aries. And the Six of Cups. So I feel like you've known this person for a while. I feel like the stuff we're going to be talking about here is stuff that is in the past. And I feel like what this is going to reveal is how really strong you are. And I don't mean in the sense of showing your muscle. I mean, I feel like you could have pulled this card out at any time, and I think that you held back for a really long time because I think you wanted this to work. I think the Six of Cups tells me you've known this person for a long time and you never expected that this would be revealed, right? Because the Sun is here. The Eight of Wands is here. The Lovers is here. And the Justice card is here. If I'm going to carry on and call you my lover, then we need to move forward and something needs to be restored. Honesty, truth, harmony. We need to get into a karmic, maybe this is a karmic relationship, right? Because the Lovers and the Justice card are together. It could be a karmic relationship, but I feel like what you want is answers. And I feel like they're going to be revealed to you. It feels like you are going to get your justice. Your justice, and look, and maybe you don't want to know, but I suppose that if you didn't want to know, you wouldn't have asked. You wouldn't have brought it up, right? We do have the Moon. We have the Fool. You're ready to leap whenever you want to. You're ready to work as hard as you need to. And I feel like leave by cloak of night. I think that at night when you try and put your head on the pillow it's like your mind won't stop. You're thinking about all the things you're planting, all the things you're building. What do I need to do? I need to move money. Like, it feels like you're already planning your way out. And then when you feel like you are no longer going through high highs and low lows, that's why I think you're leaving on a jet plane, then I think I'll come back and we'll talk about what's bothering me. We'll talk about the Five of Pentacles. This could be over money. The first card we pulled was the King, I believe, right? Nope, we pulled the 3. Where did the King show up? The King of Wands. It could be about the way somebody is doing something. They may be chasing people. There's something here that they are lying about. If they're not lying about it, they're trying to cover it up. They're keeping it concealed. And it feels like the Wheel of Fortune showing up is what breaks it all apart. Now the truth is here. The truth and destiny just stepped into the room. And expansion is here and expression. So it showing up in Leo tells me that the sun is here. And it's just blowing everything to smithereens. All right. I feel like you're ready to go if you have to. And I'll leave it right there. Thank you so much for being here and watching. I appreciate you. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I'm always back. Take care. Thanks, Aries. Bye-bye.